Hey, it's Kevin. Thanks for coming by for another No BS social media chat. Looking at some of the social media basics as we head into summer here in the U.S. And well, it's always a good time for a refresher. And I'll be honest with you, having done hundreds of these videos, the same problems that we had when we first started talking about it, the same issues with social media, are still the same issues and problems. This week we're talking about the number one, I think, issue for people with social media. It's the number one frustration. Well, okay, maybe time is number one. But if content creation isn't number two or isn't number one, which I really think it is, it should be. Because the hardest thing when it comes to social media is feeding the beast, is creating content, is figuring out, number one, what to put up there. I hear so many people say, I just don't have anything interesting to tweet. I don't have anything interesting to post. I don't have any interesting pictures. I haven't done anything with a video for a while. There's always an excuse why they can't create content. And trust me, I understand. You know what this is right here? This is content. Not only am I putting the video up in the feed, but I'm then promoting the video throughout the week, so I've got content to talk about. I've got something to be topical. I've got something to be making people aware. And that's why we do these. We do them to educate. But more importantly, and it's not about the number of viewers, it's about having content. It's about showing people that we can, that we know what we're talking about. If somebody wants to kick the tires and find out what intensity media is about, all they have to do is check out one of these videos and you can figure out in 3 or 4 minutes if I actually have half a clue. And by now, if I don't have half a clue, you're probably already gone, so it doesn't matter. But I think content is important because content is what feeds the beast. It's one of the basic tenets of social media, and yes, it is tough. If not the toughest, finding the time to do it, it's finding the content. And you may have the time, you just don't know what to post. And I think that's the interesting thing, because creating content, there is no one template for anybody. It's figuring out what works for your audience. And sometimes creating content just for the sake of creating content helps build when you don't think it would. I've got a lot of artists sometimes say, well, I don't have a new single out, so why would I tweet? What would I promote? And I'm like, well, you're just trying to allow people to learn who you are. You're just trying to keep top of mind with people, so when you do have something to put out there, when you do have a new song, a new video, a new show to promote, a new t-shirt to sell, that you're in their feed, that you're visible, that you don't just disappear. There'll be people I'll be scrolling through kind of like, timelines, and it's like, wow, whatever happened to that person? I'll see they just don't tweet as much anymore, or they're not posting content. They're not on Facebook as much anymore. And I understand burnout. I understand people walking away from social media. It fully makes sense. But if you're using it to build your profession, if you're using it to build your personal brand, you can't walk away from it. You can't take a week off. You can't take 2 weeks off. If you do, you lose the attention of people, you lose the mindset, and then you're in big trouble. So as I've always said, it's important to look at life as creating content. I've said this before in a video, and I say it to just anybody who will listen. When I was in radio, they always used to tell you to spend 2 hours of preparation, of creating stuff to talk about for every 1 hour on the air. It's called show prep. You were prepping for your social. If you had a 4-hour show, you should prep 8 hours. Never worked for me. I just couldn't focus. Well, how do I do that? Well, what I found for me, it was a new mantra, and it worked very well. It's called life is show prep. Always keep your eyes open. Always be looking around. Always paying attention. And then whether it's with your camera, whether you've got a camera with you, whether it's just your phone, again, and thanks to the smartphone, video, pictures, boom, right there. You've always got some content to create. I create my daily podcast, my 60-second Mason Minute podcast, as part of content. These videos are part of content. It's always about thinking what to talk about. You've got to feed those beasts. You've got to be in people's mindsets. And creating content is key. So don't focus on creating content all the time. I'll go out to an event, take lots of pictures, and not post them all at one time. I see so many people worried about doing it in the now. I'm at this right now. I'm doing this right now. I'm eating this meal right now. What does it matter if you post a picture of the great steak sandwich you had right now? Is anybody going to run and go, oh my gosh, I'm in the neighborhood, I want to see them eat a steak sandwich? No. What it's really about is talking about some of your favorites, that you like steak sandwiches, that you were out and about in the community, that maybe people could run into you. You never know what it is. It could just be a throwaway. It could be a toss-off part of content, but it's all part of content. It's all part about being in their feed. Some of the silliest things I've ever posted, I've ever put up on Facebook, I've ever put on Twitter, are things they're just throw-off. I just put them up there just to have something up there, and people react. And even at this point, after being in radio for so many years and creating content in social media for so many years, I'm constantly amazed at what will draw people in. I don't have the answers, and I don't think anybody does. And don't let anybody tell you that they do, because they're lying. Creating content is an ongoing thing, 24/7. If you got an idea for content in the middle of the night, keep a pad of paper next to the nightstand, write it down, remember it the next day. Speak it into your iPhone, into the message part. It doesn't matter. Creating content is never ending. Posting content, that's another story for another day. Again, just because you're collecting content, you're creating content, doesn't mean you have to post it all. We'll talk more next week. Another No BS social media chat. NoBSSocial.com, a place where you can find all of these videos, the entire series. If you want to go back and dig in, if you get really bored and want to spend a Sunday, throw them up there and just tip play, and you can hit the playlist and go. If you want me, you want to talk one-on-one, you want to email back and forth, you want to connect, again, it doesn't cost anything to chat. I'm always willing to talk and give you strategy just to get you helping along the way and get you going. My phone number, my email address are coming over at the end of the video. We'd love to talk more social media with you, and we'll do that right here next week with the No BS Social Media Chat. Thanks. Have a good one.